I remember like watching this film when I was younger and always feeling like, oh, this would be a good twist if like Becky and Spike got together.
Oh. Becky Spike fanfic, Laura.
I feel like that would be a twist.
It would be spicy. Welcome to the table.
We're your hosts, Michelle and Laura.
This is where we talk movies, food, and the ways that they bring us together. Grab a seat. This episode starts now.
So Michelle, as a non-sports enthusiast, I want to hear about your background with this movie.
Yes. While I'm not a sports enthusiast, I am extremely enthusiastic about this season and about sports films because many of the movies that we've selected for this season really hit on those nostalgia vibes that were the impetus for this show. And the first season that we did were a lot of just movies that we remember watching over and over again when we were kids. And this one definitely falls in that category, in that like VHS, watching it with our cousins category. Came out in October of 1994. I was 11 and somehow we got the VHS. I would say if I were ranking the movies that I have seen the most amount of times, this has to go on the top 20 list. I mean, I felt like I was repeating this verbatim when I was watching it back. Most of my early memories are watching this in Cape Cod where we used to go on vacation with our cousins every summer. I'll probably get more into this later, but when I think about this movie, the other thing that really sticks out to me is how much of a crush I had on Devon Sawa. I mean, in this era. I mean, I think everyone my age did because he was also in Casper, which I saw after this, even though it came out just before this, I believe. But Laura, I mean, I knew that this came out around this time, but when I was really looking at the dates and considering that you were one when this came out, I was curious if you've seen this as many times as I have, and if this is one that has stayed with you in the same way that I put Mrs. Doubtfire in this category just because it came out around the same era of life. So yeah, I was curious if this is one that you've seen a lot of times or if it's one that you know because we quote it. We still quote this movie so much.
Oh no, I have seen this movie so many times. And it's so crazy thinking about the concept that I was 1 year old and you were 11. We were on completely different planes when this came out. But I think it was just of the time, like we talk a lot about on this podcast about VHS. The 90s were different. Like you had the movies that you had. Eventually we ended up having like, you know, a lot of like our cable channels with all of the different like movie channels that those ended up becoming rewatches, but that was more when I was older. And I like watching this again. I hadn't seen it in a while, but I could quote this movie probably front to back. And I remember like being young and just being able to do complete scenes. It was probably so obnoxious for mom and dad to hear us quoting this all the time. But oh my gosh, yeah, it really brought back those like the nostalgia. I know that every decade always makes its way back. And like there's so many things within our time period right now where people are grabbing for the 90s, especially among millennials. But it's such like a frozen in time movie that just brought back so many emotions. I want to kind of talk about things that were going on during this time period. There was a big strike in Major League Baseball, so the World Series was canceled. There was like a lockout in the NHL too for over 100 days.
I do remember when that happened.
Oh, wow.
And I guess it must have been right around I think maybe even the fall of 1994. Our dad had a work trip in Texas And I went with him. This is like one of,
Yes.
like, I think the only
Love
little father-daughter trip that me and dad have ever been on. And I went with him because we have a family friend who's my age who lives in Texas. So I stayed with her for most of the trip. But while we were there, dad took me to the Texas Rangers Stadium, which was closed. But we went, and I think that we ate. They have like a Fridays inside of it. I remember eating inside of it, and
Is that why
when
you used to love Fridays so much?
I think so. I mean,
The fried green beans?
who did not love Fridays? Who was a millennial
We spent many Fridays at Fridays
at
together,
Fridays?
can I
We
say?
did. I'm sure this is going to come up a lot throughout this season, but I think when you're a kid and you hear things for the first time, so this is like the first time I learned that players could strike and there could be no baseball after 10 years of my life of there being baseball, and just how huge and mind-blowing that is.
As I watched this movie, and there's, the exchange between Kevin and Danny about how he like took him to see the Cleveland Indians, and he said like, you left me in the stadium.
Yes.
There's this awesome story that our dad would always talk about growing up, that he went on a school trip. So he went to a Yankees game. They drove like two separate cars to the stadium, and one car thought he was in one and the other thought he was in one. So he got left at the stadium, and our grandpa had to go pick him up. And I could see dad, like, when he got there, he like had a job at one of the concession stands. He was like, I just live here now. I'm all set. Okay, so in 1994, other things that were going on, television milestones. So Friends debuted in late September 1994.
Ah, I feel like someone just hugged me.
Right? I feel held. Talking about a movie like this that carried a lot of weight for us when we were young, but like it's really cool to see younger generations watching these shows. Like my sister-in-law, who we have a big age gap, I feel like the younger generations are watching Friends again.
Yeah.
And again, it just like this movie, thinking about like movies versus TV, they have like a very different aesthetic. Sorry to use that word, I know it's overused, but they do have this very different aesthetic. Like the music introduction to kids movies at this time, like the colorization, this pace, the tone, very different from sitcom TV, but they both are coinciding and just make you feel like so nostalgic about the 90s. So that made me really happy. Very different side of the spectrum. So we have the Little Giants coming out. Pulp Fiction was also released in October. I feel like, again, just thinking about these movies and these films that are like so still a part of our fabric of pop culture today is amazing that it can be that long lasting.
This is not a thing that happened in 1994, but I had a very specific pop culture thing that I remember that I have an association with this movie. And that is when I was around this age, fifth and sixth grade, for whatever reason, there was this big resurgence of the Looney Tunes, not the show, but apparel. Maybe this was just a regional thing. We grew up in the outside of New York City area, but we had this Warner Brothers store in our mall. And for everyone's birthday, every birthday that you went to for your friends around this age, we all bought each other these giant, oversized Looney Tunes shirts that had the characters' front illustrated on the front and then a view of their back on the back of the shirt. And I cannot tell you how many times I wore the shirt. I'm sure there's a picture of me in it somewhere because I just remember wearing it nonstop. And, things are cyclical, just like you said, that younger generations are now watching Friends. Looney Tunes came out when our parents were kids, and it was having a moment in the early to mid 90s, at least where we grew up.
I'm having very strong flashbacks now of Lisa, our sister Lisa had this like not bright pink, but this pink Tweety Bird sweatshirt. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
I love that sweatshirt.
We are a big sweatshirt family. We have kept, our mother still has sweatshirts that we wore when we were young, and it's still in the closet and they still get worn. Let me tell you, it's great. You just become one with them.
Before we get into what we love, I wanted to share one little fact that I learned. This movie was created or was produced by Amblin Entertainment, Steven Spielberg's company, and it was inspired by a McDonald's commercial that ran in 1992 about a Pee Wee football team. And Steven Spielberg saw that and said, I want to create a movie around that. And actually, I think hired the scriptwriter for the commercial to help develop Little Giants, which I just thought was like a cute little fact and something that we would have never known pre-internet when we were kids. So that was a fun discovery.
And notice how the movie had no McDonald's branding or commercials.
No Big Macs. We had the O'Shea burger. Thank you.
All we needed was the O'Shea burger.
I did think that it was fun that throughout, I don't know if this was intentional, because this could just be like a kid's thing, but that we saw these pirate flags in their little clubhouse hideout, and that it just made me feel like maybe that was a little callback to Goonies.
Yes. Oh, I really loved reading that Ed O'Neill was supposed to play professional football, but it makes sense.
It does. Well cast. Yes. Let's get into what we loved. Why don't you go first? What did you love, Laura?
Well, we're really drumming home how much this movie made me nostalgic, but it did. I was pleasantly surprised that I was getting emotional throughout this whole movie. I don't think that I should be allowed to have children, because during a little bit of the opening where they're going out and trying out and they go through all the names, I was like, I think I have to shut this movie off.
The scene where the kids didn't get picked, like I started crying. I was like, wow, we're 5 minutes into this and I'm already crying. You know, I don't think you have to have played sports to have felt rejection like that. And it made me, so sad. And the character that I didn't remember, and he's not like a big character, but I felt like the one that I kind of related to the most was, I think it's Tad. He's kind of like the smaller kid. And not because I was like a super tiny kid or anything, but I just think that he's like so earnest. And I think that that's kind of how I was as a kid, and how I still am pretty much. But he just like, he was like looking at those jerseys. He's like, I just want to wear one of those jerseys. He just wants to play. And yeah, I mean, this is why I don't think I could have ever played sports, just because I'm too sensitive.
I could see a little tad in you, but I also was like, Michelle would also be Newbie, the guy who like makes all the plays.
Like, I got my computer.
So computer savvy. I mean, you're computer savvy, but that also brought back a lot of nostalgia of just him having the computer, like printing off plays. So great. There's a lot of characters in this movie.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't work. And it's very overwhelming. And we feel like we don't really get to know each of them individually. But this is a setting and like a kid's comedy that I think just worked amazing. I really didn't need to like have an individual storyline of each of them. I feel like I was just like enjoying the moment of watching them interact as a team. But I do want to talk about Ed O'Neill and Rick Moranis, because such a great casting decision for each of them. They play these roles so well. Like I said, Ed O'Neill came from a football background. He has that like competitive edge, And most of what I know him from is Modern Family. And he's very much this character in that movie. Rick Moranis, I haven't seen too many things that he's in, but the only thing I found it interesting that he comes from this like comedy background. And I feel like most of the movies I see him in are comedies, but he's like plays a more serious role. But I think that their juxtaposition just worked so well in this movie, and I really like enjoyed all of the scenes with the two of them going head to head.
I thought that the way that they opened this movie was not a scene that I remembered, but it was so perfect. It was just the right amount of time. And it almost felt like that could have been in the world of The Sandlot, like, because it's the
Oh
same
yeah.
era. It's like summer, sports. So I really liked that introduction to this movie is going to be about these two brothers, and they really carried that thread
Yeah.
all the way through.
Can we also talk about how incredible young Kevin is? Probably, honestly, the best actor in this movie. His walk, his gum chewing. I was like,
the gum chewing.
Where is that? I couldn't even find this kid on the internet, but we need to bring him back.
We do.
He's a star. I was blown away. Rick Moranis.
Yeah, Rick Moranis. Can I just say that I also have not seen him in very many things. I was surprised in this movie how much he was not as much of a nerd caricature as I remembered. I felt like he was just kind of a regular guy who, at least is the way I saw him, like a regular guy who wasn't his brother.
I don't know why I specifically kind of zoned in on this scene or exchange between the two of them, but when they're in the diner, I also love that I could live in that diner. We'll get into it. Where Kevin is basically saying to him, like, we're all good at some things. Those kids are not athletes. You know, he said, like, they are, if you want to start a nature walk or you want to start different activities that like fit their, if you were to meet them for the first time, like, what would you assume that they're interested in? I'm trying to think of being that age, and like you're not consciously thinking like, what am I good at, and or how do people perceive me as something that I would be interested in? I should go do that. You're just wanting to be with your friends and have a good time. So if there's certain things that you're not enjoying, maybe you're still participating in them because it's just like almost being in a community or being outside. So I'm sure a lot of, if this was real life, a lot of those kids maybe didn't grow up and decided to go out for the high school football team. Maybe they found different things, but I feel like that's not the point. Like, and they say that throughout the movie of like, these kids just want to play. They just want to play football. They want to be a part of something. They want to be with their friends. I think like we a lot of times set kids up for failure because we're so focused on like performance and output and like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you grow up? I'm not a mother, but how I feel like the right approach is like, well, what are you just enjoying right now? Like, what would you want to do that you're having fun? And if it's everything that your friends are doing, that's fine too. When you're that age, what is the right approach? Is it like focusing on making kids like do the things that they're really good at, and like if they're not good at it, just tell them to give up, or let them kind of enjoy it and figure it out for themselves as they get older, that they may want to like do something else?
Oh, yeah, I'm really glad you brought that scene up, because when Kevin was first starting to explain, listen, these kids, there's obviously a difference here. All of these kids who I picked to be on the team are probably bound to play at least high school football. And everyone that got cut, they're probably going to have interests in other things. And that's fine. Not everyone has to play football. And when he said that, I thought, yeah, you know what? He's kind of right. But at the same time, when I was a kid, and I think that this has been changing, but sports was like everything. It was like everyone should play sports. And I was a kid who I mean, I did. I played 3 years of CYO middle school basketball, mostly on the bench, but I did participate. So, yeah, part of me when he said that was like, it felt like permission. Like, I wish someone would have just said that to me. Like, Michelle, you don't have to play sports because I think even though I didn't, it always felt like I was not doing the thing that I should be doing because every other kid my age was doing that. In regards to these kids in this movie, maybe they weren't going to, become pro football players, but these kids just still wanted to play football and they still wanted to hang out with their friends. And I think that that's enough to let them do that.
I feel like this is an interesting thing to even bring into adulthood, because think about how many things that, especially like millennials who are like joining knitting groups and like joining community groups and just want to like draw or do these things. Like, how many times have you been like, well, I can't do that because I'm not good at it, or I don't play music because I'm not good at it. Why? I'm not like actually a musician, but like sometimes you don't. Why does it always need to be based on performance? And I salute people who like do see promise in their kids and their kids are excited about it and like they have a very healthy approach with it and they go on to be these incredible athletes and go to the Olympics, all these things. But like, why in life why does it always need to be based on performance? Like, why can't it just be something that you enjoy or you want to try out?
I was about to say, especially when your kids, like at the ages that these kids are in this movie, like just let them play and figure out whether or not they want to keep doing this or not. But I think it's still true in adulthood. And when you're talking about how many millennials are now picking up these, a lot of like crafty habits, from my perspective, I'm kind of seeing it as these are all things we would have loved to have done when we were younger. And maybe we did dabble in it, but they were not nearly as accessible as sports were.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in elementary school, they say, what sport do you want to play? They don't say, what craft do you want to participate in?
Yeah, I think that's why I love Newbie's character so much, because he has this awesome line where he's like, basically says to Rick Moranis, I don't like to do anything that like inflicts pain or suffering on myself. And I do feel like a lot of kids probably resonate with that, where they're like, this is painful to be able to have to like play this sport or run the mile in gym class. Oh my God, we've talked about this in our Princess Diaries episode. But he basically is saying, like, I like to come up with solutions on my computer, and this is what I'm doing. But again, for the rest of the group, they're like, no, we want to play football and we want to hang out. I was an athlete growing up, but I also don't feel like you said there was a lot of encouragement for like, I always loved to write. I used to literally sit and on my dad's computer and like write makeup stories. And there was no like discussion about that. There was no like conversation about, oh, maybe you want to do a creative writing class. Like, those things absolutely existed and still exist. But like, I think that one of the most beneficial things of being able to play sports at this age, which is very much shown throughout the movie, is learning to work together as a team and learning to be in a group of kids they're all different. They all have different personalities, different emotions. Some of them are your best friends, some are newcomers, and needing to figure out a way to all achieve the same thing. And it's not about winning, but it's about like, how are we going to, like they say, go out there and do your best. Like John Madden says when he has his cameo in this film. But just go out there and do your best. And it's probably a lot of like, I'm sure if there's any competitive parents listening to this podcast, they're going to ding me for it. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of truth to that. Let's get back into, so we have these two core characters, Kevin and Danny, which are great. And then we kind of move down the level of like Becky, who is, again, just great casting selection for her. I thought she did such a good job. She is like a little quirky at moments, but she makes you remember like the awkwardness of this age. And like she does have, everyone's like focused on like the icebox, also incredible nickname. I
Fantastic.
was selected that. Fantastic job. She is very much like in her power, like she knows what she's good at, but she also has all these like experiences that you do at this age where you're like, oh my God, that boy looks cute, but I don't even know what kissing is yet. And I just want to like hang out with my friends, but like I'm also really good at this thing. So it just like resonated, I think, with me like at that age, like thinking about how like everything just feels like awkward and you're trying to figure things out.
Yeah, I was really impressed at for the year that this movie was made, how much they nailed that. And I think that this movie was written by all guys. I think every girl kind of goes through a version of that. And yeah, I think the actress did a fantastic job. And the part was written really, really well. And she was my favorite story arc
Yeah.
because it felt so genuine.
Yeah, I also love the like I know there's like a little bit of manipulation in there because Kevin's basically whether or
Yeah.
not he wants to admit it, he wants like sabotage the game and maybe get her to not play. But like I do feel like there was this level of respect there where he kind of like saw himself in her that she is competitive and she's good at this. And I thought that was really beautiful because, we have a lot of wonderful uncles in our life, which I'm very grateful for. And our Uncle Joe, who we talk a lot about on this podcast, but he, started a soccer academy when when we were growing up. And like, I've always felt like such a connection with him because I feel like I've learned so much about like sportsmanship and like finding the love for the game. And it's, again, like not always about the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Uncle Joe is just a great soccer coaching, just a great
We
like
may have to
life
have him
coach.
on one of these episodes this season because he's our resident sports expert who really
It's true.
paved the way for a lot of kids.
Yeah. I loved that choice to have Danny's daughter kind of like be the thing that he was never and a lot more like Kevin. And then to give Kevin two like very girly girls and for him not to
Yeah.
have sons, really like tight, neat part of the script and this story. Like they both could have more kids. Danny and Kevin could have had more siblings, but they kept the story very contained, which was perfect for a kids movie.
This is also I love like a tight hour and 45-minute movie. It had a beginning, middle, and end. I didn't have any questions. Maybe aside from the fact that it takes place in Ohio, but there's mountains in the background, but did not take away from much. Michelle, what else? What other things? I feel like I've been babbling on about 90s nostalgia, so I want to know some other things that you loved.
I think I really liked the town. I know that we started out in the 60s with this flashback of Danny and Kevin when they were kids, but even though this movie took place in the present in the 90s when this movie was made, it had a very old-fashioned, wholesome feeling to it. And I think having these two brothers having local businesses was a really smart idea, both of them having to do with cars. And then, of course, having the diner as this big set piece for us in a place where, the townsfolk are gathering, where important conversations are happening. And then, of course, I know we're very biased. We really love a diner in our family. And I had forgotten that was even part of this.
The group of men.
The men. We want to be them.
Yes, I want to grow up and I want to be a woman who just spends my whole day at the diner gossiping about the town. But I want a seat at their table. I'm like, how do I get in that corner booth? The scene where they're like all talking, Kevin's like giving a play-by-play of like his glory days. Oh, I was like, I need to be there. I need to be sitting there.
Hopefully I'm not stealing this from favorite scene. I just feel like this is another moment where I really felt that wholesomeness, that kind of like small town feeling, is when they had I don't know if it was like the
Kind of like a
night.
kickoff,
Yeah, like
like,
the kickoff party where they had all the families at Danny's house. And I love that it was like he hosted it
yeah.
and he had, introduced all the kids. And I love all the talking about Uncle Joe again, I feel like our Uncle Joe would literally do that in any kind of setting, whether it
Oh, yeah.
was like an actual sports thing or just us hanging out and playing. But like he would say little things like that, like describing us. He would kind of create little personas for each of us as we were, presented. And that was just, I don't know, it was just everything that those kids were feeling in the beginning of feeling rejected. I feel like he fixed all of that just in that scene alone.
Mhm. Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah. And I think it just does a really good job of like, it really is funny. Kids naturally are funny because they don't have this view of the world that is so serious, and they are experiencing emotions at this age where they don't want to get picked last and they really just want to be outside with their friends playing. But they really, like you said, they have the clubhouse and they are riding go-karts and they're just enjoying. I don't really know what time period this is supposed to be in, like the summer or whatever, but they're just outside playing. So I feel like it made me be transported into being a kid again, but also like feeling sad and like protective over kids and what they were experiencing during like this age. So many of our fondest memories growing up were just like we went outside after school and we were outside until it was dark out. Like brought back a lot of those really fond memories and experiences of being a 90s kid. So I think to sprinkle in the moments where they're like just really enjoying themselves and feeling like, you know, they're at like a neighbor's house all hanging out was great.
Mentioned him at the beginning, but just the love that I had for Devon Sawa in this movie, this crush was like an off the maps movie crush. I don't really have anything to go by other than just to saying that he was like, again, in this movie and the other movies that I saw him in. I know I mentioned Casper earlier. I also just remembered the movie Now and Then. He kind of had like these 3 movies that came out around the same time. And he was just like, again, it's like pre-internet. So we're not having access to, we don't have TikTok stars. We don't have, like, all we have are the people in the movies that are on the VHSs that are in our homes. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Who were my 90s crushes? But I was so little that a lot of my crushes were more so in the early 2000s.
Yeah. So who was your 2004 crush? Your
Hayden Christensen, for sure.
Lord.
Because
so dark. Why is this not surprising to me?
Specifically Hayden Christensen, where he is transforming into Darth Vader. I was like,
we're at different ends of the spectrum. Okay.
Very different ends of the spectrum. Specifically when he's at like his darkest moments in the second Star Wars film.
When he starts to get those dark circles.
Photos of him. I used to go on my dad's computer and I used to Google Hayden Christensen. I used to take and put it in a Word doc and kept it in my room.
That's sure Dad loved having hot pictures of Hayden Christensen in his search history.
Oh yeah. No one was looking at search history. They probably didn't have search history. They didn't have that button.
There's no record of it.
I'm trying to think of who else. I know that Allison's was Josh Hartnett, specifically like the Pearl Harbor era. She had I feel like I've talked about this on an episode. She had a Josh Hartnett wall in her room.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa's was Aaron Carter. R.I.P. Sad. And then it eventually transformed into Aaron Carter to Jesse McCartney. He's basically Aaron Carter reincarnated.
Local hero.
The Trobriano girls were not a very unique household in our.
We had basic crushes.
I feel like except for me, I feel like Hayden Christensen is niche.
I think it's a very niche crush.
But I loved Star Wars. Like, those movies were great when those came out.
You definitely have like the coolest taste.
It's not a big deal.
But I will also say it's funny that I don't feel like Junior Floyd really fit into, if you go and listen or watch our Crushes episode, like he doesn't fit into the type, I guess, I like as an adult. But I think at this age, it was sports or nothing. There was no, I didn't know any boys who wrote or were creative, like at all.
I remember like watching this film when I was younger and always feeling like, oh, this would be a good twist if like Becky and Spike got together in the film.
Oh, Becky Spike fanfic, Laura.
I feel like that would be a twist.
It would be spicy.
It would be. There would be a lot of probably not healthy fighting involved. So
that gold tooth.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Speaking of Spike, the first moment that I audibly laughed out loud and was cackling was the scene where Spike's dad first appears and he's just carrying a bureau. And I'm like, this is characterization.
Yes.
Everything we need to know is just seeing a visual of this guy in the summer, in the heat, sweating, carrying this thing so proudly. And then just have the introduction of Spike pretty much doing the same thing. And this just occurred to me. Is he carrying a refrigerator on his, like literally carrying an ice box on his back?
Yes. Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I know you talked about the town, but I actually think I bring this up in every episode, but I think all of the settings, like there were quite a lot of settings. They have Danny's house, they have Kevin's house, they have the gas station junkyard, they have the 2 football fields, they have the diner. I thought that they did a really good job of each, like Kevin and Danny's houses and jobs. Oh yeah, the car dealership's another one.
Yeah.
Their jobs and homes like being a reflection of them. And again, like really good set design. Like we were killed by like the current like Amazon movies and the direction that we're moving in for like kids films and using like Wayfair furniture. But these were like true thought out sets and scenes, and I really miss 90s movies for this reason.
There's really like a human touch, craftsman.
Yeah. And it's fun going on. Some of the like design choices of their houses, I'm like, they're not.
Oh my God, like, Danny's house.
Oh, love.
Did you see the antiques? It looked like Joanna Gaines had been there.
Yes, I think she.
But in the 90s.
Yeah, Rick Moranis, the original Magnolia. Who would have known?
I wonder if that was him or his wife that left.
Yeah, I think the wife that left. It
really?
seems like
I don't know. I like Danny. I think that
yeah, that's true.
I actually read that the script was originally written that he was that his wife had passed away, but I think Rick Moranis' wife had passed away in real life, and they were trying to be sensitive to that. Okay. Although it's not like he's not thinking of that, but
yeah,
that's thoughtful.
Very thoughtful.
They were thoughtful back then.
Before we get into any nitpicks, did you have a favorite giant, little giant? Rad Tad?
I think Rad Tad.
I always loved Johnny.
Oh.
But I feel like it makes sense. Like, of course, the one with like real trauma, because his dad's always going on business trips.
Oh my God. The scene specifically at the end where his dad is pulling like his plane ticket out of the mirror, that felt like, I'm like, they could have repurposed this scene for like many commercials, after school specials. Like it just felt so like they should have had some kind of like electric piano playing in the background.
Oh, I love when we first meet his dad and he's just on the phone like, yeah, I got my flight. I'm gotta get the 9 p.m. Like,
just business.
It's a businessman. I know. I can't even, it's so crazy. It's like I just completely don't care because I'm so nostalgic about this time period. Like all these like extremely classic character tropes, like Patty Floyd, just like the longing woman who still has the same locket that she did when she was 7. I'm like, yes, bring on these characters. Karen,
We love
Karen
Karen.
and young Kevin, top picks of this. If I was picking a team, they would both be on my team. Oh, this is another fun question. Okay, if you were building your ideal like team of people that you wanted to hang out with, doesn't necessarily need to be for football. If you had to pick 5 from this film, who would it be? Because there's a lot of characters.
Oh, like just like 5 favorite characters.
Yes.
Separate from Dinner Party.
Yes. If you are listening to our podcast for the first time, I'm jealous because you're starting off with probably the best season that we're going to do of all time. But we a lot of times pose questions for the table. And really what we want to encourage is like the next time you're with friends or family, or you just want to think about this on your own, like ask this question, have a fun discussion, stay at the table longer and have these fun chats about 90s nostalgia. But this question for the table is if you had to pick your dream team of characters from this film, so pick maybe like 5 people that you'd want to spend the most time with, or your 5 favorite characters, who are your top 5? Okay, so I think I have to go with Karen. Oh, actually, this is a good one. We can't. We're literally picking.
We're drafting.
Like, we're drafting.
So once you pick.
Okay. So my draft pick is Karen, number 1.
Okay. Just for my 11-year-old self, I got to go with Junior.
Okay, fair. Young Kevin.
Perfect.
I feel like he would, like if we were ever in a crisis, like he's got it.
Speaking of people who are good in a crisis, I'm going to draft Newbie, who is the computer nerd.
Oh, that's a good one. I think I got to go with, I don't remember his name, but the cowboy.
Oh, the cowboy kid.
The cowboy kid. He would be so unhelpful, but he's just there for a good time. I'm also in a big country phase right now because Casey Musgraves just released her album, so I just really like his boots and his hat.
That character, Casey Musgraves.
Yes.
Is that kid actor? We will fact check this by the time we get to The Sandlot. Is he like one of Timmy and Tommy? Is he the Tommy of Timmy and Tommy?
I don't think so.
He just looks like him.
He looks similar. He could be.
We'll fact check that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
This is not a person I would want to hang out with in real life, but just one of my favorite characters. I got to pick Butts.
Oh.
Just
you do love cartoons.
He is very much a cartoon, and I feel like he had such a presence in this movie, like an underrated presence that I, as an adult, just appreciated so much.
Oh my gosh. He was great. The towny diner men. Specifically the one who's like, if the Little Giants don't win, if they don't win, I will clean the shop out for a week. And he is so committed that like they're going to win this, that he's willing to clean the diner for a month. And that's a man that I trust.
Love it. Perfect.
That's a great team.
I think I'm going to draft Tad because I've talked about him so much. He belongs on my team.
Kevin's younger daughter.
I was thinking of her.
Who was in Spy Kids. She knows how to work a camera. She gives great dinner prayers, which also made me very nostalgic for the 90s. I'll save that for my quote section. Priscilla. I want to say Camilla. Yeah, she's great. I feel good about this team.
Okay, my last pick is Mr. Zoltek, who is one of the 2 dads who acted as the field goal. He was one of the participants.
And he also owns, like, did you catch that before they go into the dinner? He like owns like a sausage company.
I loved that sausage truck. The artwork on the side of that van. Love.
Like, who was your graphic designer?
I was so impressed, but also wanted to call out that the actor who plays Mr. Zoltek, Mark Holton, we will see very soon in an upcoming film to table
Ooh,
film release. Do you know who?
I don't. Let's
We'll
not
leave
give
it. We'll leave a little mystery.
What did we not like, if anything? There's not much to complain about in this movie, but I'll let you go.
I get what this movie needs to be, but as an adult, I mean, no, I'm not as an adult. Just Michelle, through every year of my life, could have done without all of the icky boy, like the fart jokes and the snot bubbles, and
Yes.
that's just not my scene.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's funny.
And I also feel like during this time period, it really did bother me because it's like so, like it was so in the fabric of like kids movies, like fat shaming. Like, can we just
Not.
like you really
Let's
can't
just
think
not.
the movie's so funny. Like, why do you need to include that? It's so horrible for a kid like of that age too. It was just so unnecessary. But yeah, I definitely way too many farts. I feel like they could have stuck. I thought that the funniest one was when he falls off the monkey bars. I was like, that's a great one. Or maybe including like a whoopee cushion. Like whoopee cushions are so funny. I need to share this, probably my favorite thing that I wrote down. Sean Murphy, what a bitch. I hate that kid. He's the
Hated
kid
him.
that like grows up who like I don't even know. I don't want to say it because I want to offend, but I feel like he would just like whatever job he ends up in, he like doesn't work, but he like pretends that he does, and he's really mean and like hits on girls at bars when they don't have any interest in him, and he doesn't like clean his socks. That's who he grows up to be.
No offense to the Sean Murphys of the world, but I felt like that name was also perfect for him.
Offense to the
Like
Sean
I'm like,
Murphys.
I know Sean Murphy.
Oh, I know Sean Murphy. Not something I didn't like. This is actually something I did like, but I was trying. There was clearly some like childhood pent up emotions because I was like needed to stop myself from crying multiple times throughout the movie, specifically during the draft scene when Johnny's dad comes to the football game at the end. Whew, gets me every time. So good. Oh my god, and we forgot about oh, such a good character. No, I would have picked him. The one who has like a lot of ailments because his mom is very neurotic.
Cheryl.
Which feels very true to today.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last thing that I'll say, again, not a ding on the movie, but something that I have always strongly believed in, and I've kind of already hit this home earlier in the podcast, but Pee Wee football is mean. Tell me otherwise, okay? These kids are this tall, and you're going to berate this child who doesn't even know his left foot from his right foot, and you're telling him that in order to be a man, he has to go and tackle another boy. Again, reasons why I just should not be allowed to have children. And I will tell I don't know, I think Dom is coming on for a sports season, so maybe we'll ask him about this. But one of my favorite little Dom stories. Dom is, he played sports growing up, but he prefers other things outside of sports. And he did play football for a couple years, and he basically is like the height that he was now at age 10, and then he just stopped growing. So he was like the tallest kid. His name was the Dominator, like he on the back of his jersey. My mother-in-law loves to tell the story of Dom getting absolutely rocketed during a football game, like tackled so hard, and he wasn't really getting up. And she, at the end of the game, was like, did it hurt? Like, do you want to cry? He goes, I didn't cry, but I cried on the inside. And like, again, reasons why I just should not be able to have children, because I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. And I think that Pee Wee football should be outlawed. Tell me I'm wrong. I want opposing opinions. Outlaw Pee Wee football.
People who watch video podcasts on YouTube, I'm sure, are like, yeah, I play football. in high school and peaked then. I don't think anyone's coming after you, Laura. I think this is a safe space.
The Sean Murphys are going to have my head.
Okay, somewhat on this topic, and this is one other thing I didn't like that I wanted to bring up. One, this is I loved Kevin's save the cat moment, which is a little bit of a writing technique. But when Spike's dad encourages Spike to take out Junior during the game, which is such a huge plot point, and we needed it for the movie. I love that we get Kevin saying I want to win at all costs, but not like that.
Yeah.
That was such a
it really does make him not be such a villain. And when Becky asks if she's pretty and he says, "No, you're beautiful." I was crying.
Because you knew he meant it. I know that he was kind of manipulating her in that scene.
Yeah.
But I think that what you said earlier is true. I think that he really does feel a connection with her because she's the only of the cousins, the only one that gets his love of football.
Yeah. And I feel like it kind of flips it on the head because as growing up as girls, we're always described as, "Oh, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, you look so cute," but you never talk about, "You're so strong, you did that so well. Oh, I love the way that you treat, your sisters and how much you love." We're not really given these other wonderful attributes that make us human and make us wonderful. And for Becky, she never heard the other side of it. And I feel like it's equally important to build up kids' confidence at that age. Earliest years are the most formative for your brain, but I think those years are the most formative for your emotions and how you perceive yourself as you get older. So yeah, I feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna start crying.
Who knew that this was going to be such an emotional film? Okay, one last did not like. I felt like this is a little bit of course you can overlook this in a kid's movie, but they made a big point of when Spike came to town that they were both wanting to poach him and get him on their teams. But they didn't really explain why, if Junior was so good at football, I guess he wasn't there for the tryout. Was he not insulted that they didn't try to poach him? Because I think that he was just as good.
Well, that's another hole that I've always been confused about because I think that Junior lived there. I think that people knew who he was.
But then why was it such a if they grew up there?
That's what I'm saying. You never really explained that.
And Patty grew up there. It almost seemed like Patty had moved away and then came back to town.
It feels like something they
maybe this was a cut scene. Yeah.
They're we're just going to roll.
It doesn't matter. It really does not matter. But
being young and watching that and always being confused. So, but
it's fine. I just felt bad for Junior that he's probably what, you're not going to plan this whole thing to get me off the team. But he also seemed
says, "Shut up, Junior. You're so good it makes me sick." We need to talk about our favorite scenes. So many lines. This is, again, such a niche movie for our family because there are so many funny, subtle lines in this movie that I will forever cherish. So Michelle, I want to hear from you. Do you have one favorite scene? And let's hear some of your favorite lines.
Okay,
we could also do a little bit of a draft pick for favorite lines to go back and forth because there's so many.
I wrote down so many of the ones we quoted, and as I'm writing them, I'm out of context, this is not funny at all. I think it's only funny because it's connected with this movie, and it was just something things that we've repeated for 30 plus years. I'm gonna share a favorite moment, favorite scene, and favorite quote. I've narrowed it down. I'm gonna get I'm getting focused for this season. My favorite moment that I just thought was such a cute scene was the moment where Danny and Becky are going to Patty and Junior's house.
Dad, don't tell jokes. You can't tell jokes. You never could tell jokes.
And they're just having this exchange, and he's just like, "Do you have a crush on this boy?" And she says no, but as soon as they get up there, she says, "Oh, he's so cute." And I love that she's has such a crush that she doesn't mind sharing this in front of her dad,
Yeah.
and just how fun and light he's trying to make the situation for her, but also sharing his kind of human anxieties and seeing that mirror of different genders, different ages, all humans experience having crushes on people and what that experience is like being at that front door.
Yes. Oh, so sweet. And I love that he's like, he says traitor. She runs away. So sweet.
All right. And then my favorite scene is the spies scene when Butts and Kevin show up with the binoculars right after they find out about Junior, and they're kind of
They're also
scoping out
in
the situation.
camo.
They're
Butts is in camo.
They take it so seriously. You know, I love a commitment to like an identity and a costume. I love how all of it unfolds. I love the phone call that Danny places where he pretends to be an old woman, and then the cowboy kid, just without skipping a beat, knows exactly what to say. They have this whole exchange. It's like they've rehearsed this, but I want to believe that in the story of the movie that it's just they're doing this on the fly, that they're just so good at placing this phone call to get the cops to come. I love the way that Newbie says
Spies.
And then my favorite quote is,
they got the guards in the backfield. They got the center to the right, and the quarterback isn't even there.
There's just this great pause. They're
standing around, Butts.
Definitely the scene that you need to watch if you've never seen this movie.
Please watch this scene.
Oh my God.
It is
good.
Oscar worthy.
It's Oscar worthy. So that's definitely my favorite scene. I also really love the scene where I can't even say it, where they're preparing for the game and they put Becky's face on the couch. I just love that it's so serious. And just the way he says,
Briggs, count it off.
And he's chewing so aggressively.
And then they move into the scene of his whole family just rewatching it on the couch. And again, it just made me like so nostalgic for the 90s and like taping things and like putting it in the VHS. Oh, it was so good. And we grew up always, again, with no context, it's not funny, but the way that he says like, son,
it's a couch cushion. It's a couch cushion, son.
Oh my gosh, no one's gonna think this is funny who's listening to this, but okay. I'm gonna go through some quotes. Rick Moranis is giving his big like learn lesson, like, listen guys, and Jake says, like, you beat Kevin down Cherry Hill. And then all the kids are going around like saying like the one time that they achieved something. One of the kids, his name is escaping my mind, but he says, Roger Chicken Down, he's a Marine.
Oh, I love how all the kids like know who the siblings are.
Oh, it's so good. Hot Hands is a really, really good line earlier in the movie who says,
yeah, there goes my shot at the pros. I'm going to have to be a senator.
Which I just feel like is such a kid line.
I liked that character a lot. I feel like he had a lot of good personality and lines.
I love Karen's whole quote. She says,
and girls can run countries, they can sit on the Supreme Court, they can discover radium, but they can't play Pee Wee football.
Correct.
I just thought that was
Karen
such a good
for president.
Priscilla has a great line, which I mentioned earlier, but she says,
God bless family, friends, flowers, Nickelodeon, all the little kitties, Pez, Mr. Lorenzo, the school janitor. His ears are so hairy.
He's an unfortunate man, Priscilla.
And God bless Daddy's favorite sport, football.
Oh, that's like a time capsule, except for Mr. Lorenzo.
Another thing that we say all the time.
It's do or die. Win or cry. Go, baby, go!
I've just been in my head saying "Go, baby, go" for like the last 2 days. It just leading up before I even watched the movie.
The entire rundown of when they first meet Spike for the first time, and someone says, he looks like a side of beef. And then they say, where's his neck? And then he says, your leg's bigger than my body. I think that I laughed the hardest when they're all like getting the little giants are getting their workout equipment for the first time, and Jake's mom shows up.
It's a mom!
Again, I just felt it's like so relatable for like boys of that age, but it felt like so like slapsticky comedy of the 90s, which I thought was great. The running the ball scene where they're all like fighting. You always run the ball. How come I didn't run the ball? Okay, let's get into food moments. The first food sighting is Zoltek's helmet, peanut butter and jelly. Also Cheetos.
Puffed.
That was a great exchange. What does he say? Like pansy or something? Because he
eats puffed Cheetos instead of...
No, I think that puffed Cheetos is... I don't like crunchy Cheetos.
Yeah, I like puffed better.
Puffed is much better. Remember the little
the
literally
balls?
just a container of chemicals, but the balls.
Yes, love the balls.
Love the balls. We get like the classy O'Shea meal with like the corn on the cob and the broccoli, and then we have like the chocolate milk and an undisclosed bowl of salad scene at Danny and Becky's house, which I felt like was like great side by side. Great diner scenes, the O'Shea burger, the pregame spread at Danny's house. Junior calls out that the dip was not very good.
The dip sucked.
The dip sucked. And we didn't get to see the Zoltek's House of Sausage, but I wish that we did because, you know, those were some good sausages.
Idea Jar will write the spinoff.
Yes.
Just centered around their sausage business.
The Zoltek family. What kind of gum do you think they used for this film? Maybe Wrigley's.
Yeah, it seemed like it had some heft to it, though. It didn't.
Yeah.
It seemed like it had more heft than a stick gum.
Do you remember like baseball chewing gum that they would sell? I mean, you probably remember when I
Big
played
League Chew.
Yeah, Big League Chew.
Yeah,
it
of
lasted
course.
for 2 seconds, and it was chalky. But I was like, give me all of it.
Yeah.
I used to get that and like a soda after my Little League games.
I don't know if this is supposed to be at a different field than what they... I don't think it was in the Kevin O'Shea Stadium that they played in at the end. But in the background, we see George's Parkside Refreshments. And I was like, wow, remember snack bars at sporting events.
That is what I immediately associated with my Little League baseball.
Wait, you played Little League?
Yeah, I was great. I was great at
for real? I have no memory of this.
I did, ask Dad. But Mom and Dad were like, you have to choose a sport because we can't be doing
We're out of time.
So I tried lacrosse for like a summer, and I was also really good, but
wow,
was my jam, so I had to choose. Yeah.
What was your team name?
I don't remember. We were
Maybe we should save this for the Sandlot episode.
We were
the gold team.
We were a gold team. I did not like the color. I did not like the felt hats. But my friend Kelly Hogue, who just got married, shout out. She and I were on the same Little League team, and I think both of our dads coached together. So lots
Bill
of fun.
and Mike together.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, so you more associate going to sports snack bars as a participating athlete.
But I mean, I feel like we're probably going to highlight this in a lot of episodes. So at our uncle's soccer academy, we had the snack shack, which was the size, you probably see like the corner of it was like this. It was in the corner.
Oh, I was, for one summer, a former employee.
I love it. All of us were.
I don't think it had that name yet. I think I was like the inaugural year that they had the snack bar.
We got in a lot of trouble in the snack bar because we were constantly eating things and obviously not paying for it. So we got a wrist slapped a couple of times. I remember Denise and I think ran it for like a week, and we were just giving out free ice pops left and right. I couldn't say no.
Hey, that's the camps.
Really. I remember everything that we sold. Specifically, my favorites were like the red and purple Fruit by the Foot, probably red ice pops, even though I loved
What was the brand?
The ones that like cut your mouth.
They were like the sticks.
Yes, the sticks.
Oh, those did cut your mouth, yeah.
I like the purple like frost Gatorade the most. I mean, I loved all of them. I ate Gushers all the time too. Just all things that you definitely want to eat before going into 90-degree heat on a soccer field.
And running around. Yeah. We grew up in a pretty healthy household. Mom wouldn't keep snacks like that in the house. So I think that when we were let loose in the wild, we were like, just give me all of it. We need to make up for lost time here.
If anything, I think everything she tried to negate just went, or everything that she tried to avoid just was negated, because I would just consume everything that I probably would in like a year time in a 2-week time period.
Yes.
But
I remember going to a lot of sporting events as a supportive sister. All of in addition to Laura, our sisters Allison and Lisa also played travel sports, soccer and softball. Yeah, I don't remember being allowed to get a lot of stuff from snack bars in most of my childhood, but I do have a couple memories. I don't know, maybe this is with friends or our aunts and uncles that let us do this, but I definitely remember eating that Big League Chew. And I remember one instance where I'm pretty sure I ate the whole bag like at once.
Oh, when did you not? Oh, at one. Okay. I was like in one sitting, obviously.
And I'm sure I'm not the only kids who have done this, which was a mistake. But and then also you mentioned Fruit by the Foot. So this is a similar format, but bubble tape.
Oh, bubble tape. Also chalky.
Made from the same chalk who brought you Big League Chew.
Same chalk. Yeah, I mean, they basically were the same. They were just in different forms. And like the packaging was really fun on bubble tape because it was like that bright pink. They don't make them like they used to.
They don't. Everything's GMO free now.
Now kids are drinking like acai smoothies. Bring back the 90s candy chemicals.
But yeah, just the mention of a snack bar and like my heart flutters a little bit. Like it really that's a nostalgic like a word that like triggers many positive endorphins in me.
We need more snack bars.
I don't know why I'm like, I don't know why we would ever be at a festival for anything, but I'm just picturing like a festival and us having our own little like film to table snack bar. But we would be annoying about it as adults. We would make it like it would be bougie and inaccessible. Yeah.
That sounds about right. Is there one thing that you saw in the movie that you wanted the most?
That I most wanted to eat? I think I wanted the O'Shea burger and fries. I thought that it looked really good. Becky was more interested in catapulting, what were the like little pebble ice cubes into the glass, like which she was so talented at.
Up, like paper straw.
Oh, is that what that was? Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was that or ice. I got confused because of the sound it was making.
Yeah, and I thought that was such like a good little inclusion.
Yeah. But I thought that burger looked, great. I want to go to that diner so bad.
I love just like a town that it's like, yeah, my kid's just like at the diner. No one does that.
I also really liked that the diner felt a little bit more like a pub than a 50s style diner, like the Cinderella Story diner.
This isn't as much an idea jar as like we need to create some type of slide that highlights all of our favorite diners in the movies that we've done.
We will do like its own episode.
Yes.
Just on diners.
Like we did crushes, we're doing diner crushes.
Yes. Completely necessary.
I think that I really wanted the chocolate milk, which is such a crazy concept. Like I would never buy Hershey's chocolate syrup now and a glass of milk, but like that was I did that all the time, where you just literally squeeze it into the bottom of your milk.
That was part of the era that was like late in my childhood when mom and dad started to crack and like we would have Hershey syrup on the door.
I kind of feel like we had like, maybe towards that, but I feel like we had like healthy chocolate syrup at some point. Do you remember this?
I only remember Hershey's.
Now I want it. Okay. Dinner party. We have a lot of good scene options. We have a lot of good settings, but why don't you pick one, Michelle?
Do we want to do like a little snack bar meetup? Instead of doing a dinner party, we'll be like, these
picnic table outside the snack bar.
These characters are at a sporting event and they're going to each go to the snack bar and pick something out, and then they're all going to sit at a picnic table together and share their bounty.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to give you Newbie. I know we've been talking a lot about Newbie, but he deserves to be there. Like, just because you played in the game, you're not the only one who gets to get a snack. He's like the sibling who still can pick out a snack after the game.
Relatable.
I'm going to give you Jake's mom.
Cheryl. Perfect.
And Hot Hands.
Okay, great.
Because I love him and I just want to hang out with him.
I'll give you Patty.
Okay.
So we'll have two moms there. And then I'll give you Spike's dad and Sean Murphy. You kind of have the Cowboys crew.
I'm so excited for this.
All except for Patty.
Yeah. I think that Sean Murphy should not be allowed to sit at the table. I think that Sean Murphy...
He gets cut from the table.
Yeah. Okay. I can go first.
Okay,
please.
I
have an idea of how I would approach this. So, at most snack bars, any normal person usually just sticks to the basics. Like, you're going to get some gum after the game. But, like, there's always the people that are like, I'm getting the hot dog. Even though we have pizza waiting for us at home, I'm getting a hot dog. I think that all three of them are going to get hot dogs, but very different approaches. Patty is like, she's classy. She's a classic. She even gets like a little mustard on her shirt, but she's like, oh, it's not a big deal.
On her necklace.
She's like, I have a Tide to Go pen. It's great. I think that she like loves mustard though. Like mustard is her topping. She likes it like a little bit more well done. So she asks them to keep them on the rotator a little bit longer than they normally would. And I think that she likes like a very cold lemonade. Like, you know, the lemonade from like Annie Ann's, they have one of those at the snack.
Like one of the machines.
I think is very elevated. I think that Spike's dad, like, he doesn't drink. He's like, oh, I don't drink. And they usually don't sell alcohol at the bars. But he's like, can I have a glass of milk? He's like, I have milk every night because me and my son bulk up. And I would like a cool glass of milk. And they're like, sir, we don't have that here. So he just like, he's boring. And he just like sticks like an ice water or like a bottle of water. He is going to get a hot dog because he's trying to convince himself that it's like meat and
protein.
And I think that he gets like sauerkraut like on top of it, which my order usually would be like, I put some sauerkraut, mustard, and ketchup on there. So not dinging him for the sauerkraut, but like he doesn't do ketchup or mustard because like he doesn't want the extra sugar. And Sean Murphy, okay, so he goes up there and he's really rude and he's like making fun of the attendant who works at the snack bar. It's probably like an older classmate and he's gross and sweaty. And not only is he going to get a hot dog, he's going to get like a chili hot dog, which I'm not a fan of. I don't think I've ever had a chili hot dog, but I'm not supportive of this. He's like, I'll have a chili dog. And his mom gives him like a little too much money. So he gets like a red Gatorade because you know he's a red Gatorade lip kid. He's going to get red Doritos, not ranch because he's not classy. He's going to get 3 packs of Gushers, 1 that he can have there and then 2 for the ride home. And he's going to get bubble tape because he like thinks that it's cool and he's trying to impress Debbie. Mountain Dew. He's going to get a Mountain Dew. So he's going to have his Gushers and his Gatorade on the way home, and he's going to have his Mountain Dew and his chili dog. Maybe even the blue dye Mountain Dew.
Oh, God. My palms are sweaty right now. I'm detoxing just hearing this. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Especially Sean Murphy. Well done, Laura. Okay. I think that Newbie is going to order one of those cups of ice cream that's only like this big, and it's half vanilla and half chocolate, and you eat it with a little stick, and then kind of like tasting the stick as part of the experience of consuming that. And I love how the cups, this is just such a thoughtful detail. They have the little, it's like a scalloped edge.
What are those called? I
It's
miss
an ice
those.
cream cup, just a classic.
They're not very good, but they're not bad.
No, almost when you put the stick in, it almost like takes the whole thing up at once.
Yes. Yeah, it's like
it's just one
thing.
big like.
Oh, that makes me really
like
miss
glue.
Like, is it Martinelli's like Italian ice?
Oh yeah, that's a whole different. That there's scraping involved, but it's the same. It's the same stick. Yeah,
same stick.
I think that he would also order a can of Canada Dry ginger ale with a straw because he doesn't want to cut.
Of course,
run the risk of cutting his lip.
Yeah, and I feel like he has like the stats of like, did you know that there are 30 deaths a year from cutting yourself on a soda can?
Exactly.
And Jake's mom is like, I get it.
I like this kid.
She's like, actually, it's 52.
All right. So Jake's mom, I think, also orders a soda. She starts out with like a very basic mom order. She's like, I'm going to get a Diet Coke, also with a straw. But then I think that she starts to go off the rails, and she's like, she spots Funyuns, and she's like, I would like a bag of Funyuns. And then she also notices the ice cream chest and gets one of my favorites, the strawberry shortcake ice cream bars. So good.
It's funny because I'm picturing her like letting her hair down because Jake is like allergic to everything.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have mama's night off.
Yes.
I'm going crazy.
And you know what? I think that she sees Sean and she's like, and I'll grab a pack of bubble tape for the road. She keeps it in her glove compartment. It's like her cigarettes.
Yeah.
All right. And then Hot Hands. I think Hot Hands is a Cheeto eater, but I think he's a crunchy Cheetos eater. Yeah. And I think the perfect pairing, I don't think anyone at our table has ordered this yet. I think that he gets a red slushy, but it's the brand that has the little dog on it, on the cups.
Yeah, those ones were never as good.
But that's all they have at the snack bar, so.
That's true.
This or that.
Michelle was not a good student this
Unprepared.
episode. So I'm just going to put you in the hot seat. You ready, Michelle?
I'm ready. Okay.
Pick a Cheeto. Crunchy, puffed, or actually I'll add the balls in. This is a 3. Crunchy, puffed,
the balls.
The puffed
I think balls. I'm gonna stay puffed.
Okay. Good choice. Okay. Would you rather make moose sounds on a camping trip with your dad or go put mud on the tires and go karting as like a bonding experience?
Go-karting. I've never done off-road go-karting, but many of my youngest, earliest, most fun memories on Cape Cod were going to the go-kart track.
Also makes me really miss bumper cars. Gotta bring them back.
So much fun.
So much fun. Okay. You have to pick basically like a training you're forced to do in preparation for the football game. Would you rather have to go across the monkey bars or do the timed sprint test?
Definitely the monkey bars.
Oh my God.
I would crush the monkey bar test.
We need to revive the monkey bar video that we have of you and our cousin Amanda.
But I fall off.
Yes.
Fine, maybe I would not crush it. I have more confidence as an adult.
Drops I've ever. Whoever was making playgrounds in the 80s, they should be in jail. They probably are in jail. They probably are bankrupt because of the amount of lawsuits that they have against them. Kids of today do not know the pain that we went through. Splinters,
burning your butt on the slide.
Oh man, bring them back.
Okay, but the video Laura is referring to is there's a video of me I'm going across the monkey bars, and all of a sudden I
Absolutely.
just drop to my death.
Like the drop when Zoltek drops, but there's no pile of children for
it's just gravel and me.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Let's see. Okay, you are a 12-year-old girl. Would you rather go on a date with Spike or be stuck in a room with Gasman after he's had a big meal?
I guess go on a date with Spike. I mean, who knows, Laura? I think you're right. I think Spike and Icebox go to different high schools and bump into each other like at the end of senior year somewhere in town, and they're like, you know what? We actually have a lot in common.
Yeah, and I feel like they're like, all that's in the past. Spike congratulated them at the end of the game.
I loved that moment.
Loved that moment.
And he was like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
This is part of the game. This is what we do. Yeah.
Sean Murphy. And last question. Would you rather be a gas attendant at Danny's gas station that's been holding the town together for years, or would you rather be a car salesman at Kevin O'Shea's car dealership? You'll thank him tomorrow.
Both sound like nightmares to me because it sounds like a lot of like people interaction. Yeah. But I think if it was Danny's gas station, it felt like such a wholesome small town experience that I'm going to go with the gas station, even with the gas. Those gas fumes.
I think it would be fun.
Thanks for stepping up, Laura, and doing this or that. I will promise I will come more prepared to future episodes.
Okay, so next week we are going to be moving into...
I did a little bit of canvassing over the last couple months. I told family and friends that we were doing this sports season. I was asking people what movie they would most want us to cover. Every single person said this next movie.
Okay. To our guest, who shall not be named because it's going to be a surprise, but she's a returning guest and she's fabulous. Probably one of our favorite guests of all time.
Fan favorite. All her episodes are our most popular.
All of her episodes are probably our best. And this is one of her favorite movies of all time. So I'm so excited. So next week, we are going to be doing A League of Their Own. Make sure you come in and listen. We're taking a pivot from football, moving into baseball. If you are a new-time listener, we have some great previous seasons if you want to go check them out. But if not, just keep following along with our sports season for the next couple weeks.
We'll see you then.
See you then.